I didn't ask to be transmigrated into the wildly melodramatic historical web novel, The Emperor's Beloved Lotus. And I certainly didn't ask to wake up in the body of Zhao Liang the Wicked, doomed noble consort destined to be executed in Chapter 150 by the cold, ruthless Emperor Li Wei. Armed with the knowledge of my impending tragic end, I make the only logical decision. I am retiring from villainy to become a full-time slacker. My plan is simple. Avoid the Emperor, ignore the sweet heroine Lin Yu, eat imperial delicacies, and take incredibly long naps in my luxurious palace. Unfortunately, my sudden lack of jealousy and complete indifference to imperial politics makes Emperor Li Wei highly suspicious and entirely too obsessed with my new chaotic lifestyle. They say love is unpredictable, and today's story proves it. Welcome to Romance Crave Stories, where every episode is full of passion, secrets, and secrets. Emotional twists. Let's begin. I died because of a spreadsheet. Well, technically. I died because I fell down an open manhole while severely sleep-deprived and aggressively formatting a financial report on my phone, but the spreadsheet was the true villain of my modern life. Imagine my surprise when I woke up. Not in a hospital bed with a massive concussion, but in a sprawling, ridiculously opulent bed draped in crimson silk, surrounded by weeping women and ancient Hanfu. Your Highness, a mysterious devastation was waiting for me in this house. I didn't see the light before. I recognized the light, but it was too far from me. I saw an invisible, dark Famos. Stained glass ceiling. I sat up, a blinding headache splitting my skull. I looked at my hands. They were soft, uncalloused, with nails painted a fierce, intimidating red. I looked at the intricately carved wooden ceiling, completely devoid of fluorescent office lights. And then, the memories of the original owner hit me like a runaway carriage. I hadn't just transmigrated. I had transmigrated to another world. 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 I had transmigrated to another. Into a highly rated, incredibly dramatic web novel I read last year. The Emperor's Beloved Lotus. Worse? I wasn't the beloved Lotus. I was Zhao Liang, the wicked, arrogant, impossibly wealthy noble consort who spends the entire novel terrorizing the sweet heroine, Lin Yu, before the cold and ruthless Emperor, Li Wei, finally snaps. In the novel, my family is exiled, and I am tossed into the cold palace to drink poisoned wine. Great. Fantastic. 0 stars for this transmigration system. The maid kneeling closest to my bed, Xiao Ming, according to my shiny new memories, sobbed into her silk sleeves. Niang Niang. We thought you would not wake after you fell into the lotus pond. His Majesty has not come to see you. He is currently at the pavilion with Lady Lin. The original Zhao Liang would have flown into a jealous, plate-smashing rage. She would have ordered someone flogged. She would have immediately started plotting to slip arsenic into Lady Lin's tea. I just blinked, running my hand over the soft silk of the blankets. It felt like absolute heaven. I didn't have to clock in at 8 a.m. I didn't have to fix macro errors in Excel. I was a high-ranking noblewoman in an ancient imperial palace with a personal chef, a massive wardrobe, and 0 actual responsibilities, besides looking pretty. Xiao Ming, I said, my voice raspy but surprisingly melodious. Yes, Your Highness? She trembled, clearly bracing for the inevitable violence. Tell the Imperial kitchen to prepare a roast duck, scallion pancakes, and a large pot of jasmine tea. And tell the courtyard guards that if His Majesty or Lady Lin comes within 50 feet of my gates, they are to announce that I am highly contagious. Xiao Ming stared at me as if I had grown a second head. Niang Niang. I have decided to retire, I announced, sinking back into the luxurious, cloud-like pillows. From now on, my only rival is insomnia. Go get the duck. If Emperor Li Wei wanted his sweet lotus, he could have her. I was going to live my second life taking naps, eating rich food, and staying far, far away from the plot. Chapter 1. The roast duck was, without exaggeration, the single greatest thing I had ever put in my mouth. I sat cross-legged on the edge of my sprawling rosewood bed, wearing only a loose silk inner robe, tearing into a crispy, glazed duck leg. The skin shattered perfectly against my teeth, giving way to tender, savory meat. In my previous life, my idea of a luxury meal was a lukewarm cup of instant ramen eaten over a glowing laptop keyboard at 2 a.m. This was worth falling into a lotus pond for. Niang Niang please, Xiao Ming whispered frantically, hovering near the carved wooden screen that separated the sleeping quarters from the outer hall. She was wringing a silk handkerchief so tightly her knuckles were white. If the Grand Momo sees you eating with your hands, she will report us to the Empress for lacking imperial decorum. Let her report. I mumbled around a mouthful of scallion pancake. What are they going to do? Ground me? Tell them. I'm convalescing. I require protein for my chi. Xiaoming stared at me, her eyes wide and shiny, with unshed tears. For the past 24 hours, my poor maid had been treating me as if my brain had leaked out through my ears during my near-drowning incident. And honestly, considering the original, Zhao lying was a tempest of rage, vanity, and political ambition, my sudden desire to do absolutely nothing must have been terrifying. But Your Highness, Xiaoming tried again, her voice dropping to a desperate squeak. It has been 3 days since the incident. You have not sent a single letter to the Dragon Pavilion. You haven't sent His Majesty his favorite ginseng soup. You haven't even thrown a vase at the wall. The other palaces are starting to whisper that you have lost favor. Good. Let them whisper. Whispering burns calories, which means they'll be too tired to bother me. I wiped my greasy fingers on a warm, damp cloth provided by a bewildered eunuch. Xiaoming, bring me my jewelry box. She blinked, momentarily distracted. Are you going to dress up, Nyang Nyan? Shall I call for the makeup maids? Heavens no. I'm going to bribe the kitchen. When she brought the heavy lacquer box, I dug past the heavy gold phoenix hairpins and diamond-encrusted earrings, items that gave me a headache just looking at them, and pulled out a solid jade bangle. It was heavy, cool to the touch, and probably worth more than my entire apartment in my past life. Take this to head chef Wang, I instructed, dropping the bangle into her hands. Tell him that the noble consort expects this level of crispiness on the duck every single day. Furthermore, I want first priority on all seasonal fruit, especially the lychees. If Lady Lin or the Empress asks for them, tell him to say there was a flight. Understood. Xiaoming looked down at the priceless jade, then up at me. You are using imperial tribute jewelry for snacks? I am investing in my quality of life, I corrected. Now go. And tell the eunuchs in the courtyard to find me the strongest, thickest bolt of brocade we have, and 2 sturdy ropes. I have a construction project. By mid-afternoon, my masterpiece was complete. Between 2 massive, ancient plum blossom trees in my private courtyard, my eunuchs had strung up a glorious, deep purple brocade hammock. It swung gently in the warm spring breeze. I immediately climbed into it, arranged 3 plush silk pillows behind my head, and popped a peeled grape into my mouth. This was the peak of human existence. The original Zhao Lying was an idiot. Why spend your days plotting to murder teenagers and screaming at servants when you could literally just lie in the sun and be fed fruit? I had just closed my eyes, teetering on the edge of a glorious, deep, purple brocade hammock. I immediately climbed into it, arranged 3 plush silk pillows behind my head, and popped a peeled grape into my mouth. I had just closed my eyes, teetering on the edge of a glorious, deep, purple brocade hammock. I had just closed my eyes, teetering on the edge of a glorious, deep, purple brocade hammock. I had just closed my eyes, teetering on the edge of a glorious, deep, purple brocade hammock. When the heavy wooden doors of my courtyard creaked open, His Majesty's head eunuch, Eunuch Gao arrives, a guard announced loudly. I didn't open my eyes. I just sighed. Tell him I'm dead. Niang Niang. Xiaoming hissed, entirely scandalized. Footsteps approached the plum blossom trees, stopping abruptly. I cracked one eye open. Standing a few feet away was Eunuch Gao, an older man in dark blue robes holding a wooden tray with sealed scroll. He was staring at me, swinging lazily in a piece of fabric tied between two trees, with an expression of profound existential confusion. Greetings to the noble consort. Eunuch Gao managed, bowing stiffly. His Majesty has noted your unusual silence over the past few days. He sends this decree to inquire about your health and expects your written reply detailing your reflection on your recent behavior. In the novel, this was the moment Lying wrote a 10-page, blood-stained letter accusing Lin Yu of pushing her into the pond, which only made Emperor Li Wei hate her more. I looked at the scroll. I looked at Eunuch Gao. Tell His Majesty my health is excellent. My reflection is that the pond water was unpleasantly cold, and I have no further thoughts at this time. I said cheerfully, popping another grape into my mouth. Would you like a scallion pancake, Eunuch Gao? They're very good. Eunuch Gao's jaw went slack. He looked at the pancake plate, then back at me, completely at a loss for words. Without a single word, he bowed, turned on his heel, and practically fled the courtyard, taking the scroll with him. I smiled, closing my eyes again and sinking into the silk pillows. Step 1 of surviving the plot. Confuse the enemy. Chapter 2. Without a smartphone, the internet, or a decent streaming service, the ancient imperial palace was catastrophically boring. After 3 days of sleeping, eating, and staring at the beautifully painted ceiling of my bedchamber, I had hit a wall. A person can only eat so many lychees before they need intellectual stimulation. Or in my case, a highly inappropriate gambling ring. Roll them, Xiao Bao, I commanded, slapping my hand against the low rosewood table. And if you roll another pair of ones, I am taking your dessert rations for a week. My courtyard's junior eunuch, Xiao Bao, sweated profusely. He held a pair of bone dice in his cupped hands, shaking them like his life depended on it. Around the table sat Xiaoming and another maid. All of us hunched over a pile of copper coins, jade trinkets, and a half-eaten plate of sweet lotus cakes. I was currently dressed in a completely unglamorous, oversized white silk inner robe. My heavy, elaborate hairstyles had been abandoned. My hair was tied up in a messy, careless knot held together by a single wooden chopstick. My sleeves were rolled up past my elbows, revealing zero imperial dignity. Xiao Bao tossed the dice. They clattered across the polished wood. A 4 and a 2. I cheered, sweeping the pile of copper coins toward my side of the table. The house wins again. Pay up, Xiao Bao. I know you've been hoarding those candied plums. Niang Niang have mercy, Xiao Bao wept dramatically, reaching into his robes to produce a small silk pouch of plums. Mercy is for the weak, and I am a capitalist, I declared, popping a plum into my mouth. Pass the dice to Xiaoming. I was having the time of my life. This was infinitely better than fighting over an emperor I didn't even like. His Majesty the Emperor arrives. The sharp, piercing cry from the outer courtyard gates shattered the joyful atmosphere like a dropped porcelain vase. Total chaos erupted. Xiao Bao scrambled backward, tripping over his own robes. Xiaoming let out a strangled shriek, desperately trying to sweep the copper coins and dice into the wide sleeves of her dress. I simply sat there, a candied plum bulging in my cheek, watching the heavy doors to my inner hall slam open. Emperor Li Wei stepped over the threshold. If this were a television drama, the wind would have dramatically blown his dark robes. An intimidating background music would have swelled. The man was undeniably gorgeous, in a terrifying, lethal sort of way. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in dark, obsidian black robes embroidered with a sprawling golden dragon. His features were sharply carved, his jawline like a weapon, and his dark eyes were as cold as a frozen lake. This was the man destined to be the emperor of the world, to order my execution in 148 chapters. Every servant in the room immediately dropped to the floor, pressing their foreheads against the wood, trembling violently. I swallowed my plum, wiped my sticky fingers on a napkin, and gave him a lazy, seated nod. "Greetings, Your Majesty." "You didn't RSVP." Li Wei stopped dead in his tracks. His cold eyes swept over the room. He took in the overturned stools. He took in the terrified servants. He took in the bone-dying servants. He took in the bones of the dead. He took in the bones of the ice that had escaped Xiaoming's sleeve and were currently resting by his black silk boots. Finally, his gaze landed on me, the supposed wicked, jealous villain of his harem, sitting barefoot in an inner robe, hoarding a pile of candied fruit. "What?" Li Wei said, his voice a low, dangerous rumble that sent a shiver through the room. "Are you doing?" "Consolidating wealth," I answered honestly. Xiao Bao is terrible at calculating probability. Li Wei stared at me. He looked genuinely derailed. "Eunuch Gao informed me that you returned my decree with no response. I assumed you were throwing a tantrum or plotting to poison someone. Instead, I find you running a gambling den in your bedchamber. Plotting takes a lot of energy, Your Majesty." I sighed, leaning my elbow on the table and resting my chin in my hand. "And tantrums give me migraines." I decided to pivot my strategy towards self-care. He took a slow, deliberate step forward, his dark eyes narrowing. "Self-care?" He took a slow, deliberate step forward, his dark eyes narrowing. "Self-care? You threw yourself into the lotus pond 3 days ago because I chose to have tea with Lady Lin instead of visiting you. You screamed that you could not live without my favor. Ugh, original Zhao lying, you dramatic fool. I had an epiphany in the water," I said smoothly, waving a dismissive hand. The water was very cold. It cleared my head. I realized that my behavior was undignified. "If you wish to have tea with Lady Lin, you should. She is very sweet. You two look lovely together." I fully supported. Li Bei Zhao Tictonat. He looked like a man who had braced himself to fight a tiger, only to be confronted with a highly apathetic house cat. He stepped right up to the edge of the low table, towering over me. The sheer, imposing aura of the tyrant emperor was suffocating, making Xiaoming whimper softly into the floorboards. "You support it," he repeated, the words dripping with suspicion. Yu Zhaoling, who had a maid flogged last month simply because she accidentally wore the same shade of pink as Lady Lin. A dark time in my personal history. I have grown. I lied without blinking. From now on, this courtyard will be a haven of peace, quiet, and early bedtimes. You do not need to worry about me harassing your favorite anymore. My days of jealousy are entirely behind me." I smiled, a completely genuine, relaxed smile. Li Wei didn't smile back. Instead, a strange dark intensity flared in his eyes. He leaned down, placing both of his large, calloused hands flat on my rosewood table, bringing his face dangerously close to mine. He smelled like sandalwood, cold ink, and power. "What game are you playing, lying?" he whispered, his voice dangerously soft. "Right now? Just a simple high-low dice roll," I replied, innocently pushing the bone dice toward him. "Would you like a turn? The buy-in is 2 coppers. Li Wei stared into my eyes for a long, heavy moment, searching for the lie, the scheme, the trap. He found absolutely nothing but my desire for a nap. Slowly, he straightened up, his golden dragon robes rustling in the quiet room. "I will be watching you, noble consort," he warned, turning his back to me. "Please don't, I sleep with my mouth open," I called out as he marched toward the doors. The emperor paused for a fraction of a second, his shoulders stiffening, before he swept out of the hall, taking all his intimidating aura with him. I let out a long breath and slumped back onto my cushions. Surviving the emperor was going to be easy. He just needed to realize how profoundly lazy I actually was. All right, he's gone, I said, tapping the table. Xiaoming, get off the floor. We have 3 more rounds before my afternoon nap. Chapter 3. The primary issue with being the villain in a historical harem drama is the sheer amount of unsolicited foot traffic. I was currently back in my purple brocade hammock, swinging gently beneath the plum blossom trees. I had successfully negotiated a plate of warm red bean pastries from the imperial kitchens, and was deeply committed to doing absolutely nothing for the next 4 hours. Then the courtyard gates creaked open. Lady Linyu arrives to pay her respects to the noble consort. A eunuch announced, his voice practically trembling with anticipated drama. I cracked one eye open and sighed, letting my arm dangle over the edge of the hammock. Through the circular moon gate stepped the protagonist of the Emperor's beloved lotus. Lady Linyu was objecting to the fact that she was the one who was going to be the villain in the drama. She was the epitome of the white lotus trope, delicate, ethereal, and dressed in a flowing, pale blue hanfu that made her look like she was perpetually gliding on a soft breeze. She had skin like white jade and large, doe-like eyes that were currently wide with absolute terror. She walked toward me as if she were approaching a live explosive. Greetings to the noble consort, Linyu whispered, dropping into a graceful, trembling curtsy. In the novel, this was the moment Zhao Lai was supposed to accidentally on purpose spill boiling hot tea on Linya's pristine dress, sparking a massive rivalry that would ultimately lead to my execution. I looked at the teapot resting on the stone table nearby. Then I looked at Linyu. You can stand up, I said lazily, picking up a red bean pastry. If you stay crouched like that, your knees will lock, and the imperial physicians are terrible at joint alignment. Linyu stood, though her shoulders remained rigidly hunched. She kept her eyes glued to the table. Linyu stood, though her shoulders remained rigidly hunched. Linyu stood, though her shoulders remained rigidly hunched. She kept her eyes glued to the table. She kept her eyes glued to the stone path, twisting an embroidered silk handkerchief between her delicate fingers. Your Highness, she began, her voice quivering perfectly on pitch. I came to apologize. I know that His Majesty spent the evening with me at the pavilion on the night of your incident in the Lotus Pond. I never meant to monopolize the dragon's favor. Please punish me if you must. She closed her eyes tightly, bracing herself. She was literally waiting for me to slap her. I stopped chewing my pastry and took a good, long look at the heroine. Yes, she was beautiful. But up close in the harsh sunlight, I could see the faint, purplish shadows beneath her lovely eyes. The poor girl was probably exhausted. Harem politics, dodging assassins, and dealing with an emotionally repressed, brooding tyrant like Emperor Li Wei had to be a logistical nightmare. I didn't feel jealous. I felt profound pity. It was like watching a new intern get handed a massive, unformatted spreadsheet on a Friday afternoon. Linyu, I said gently. She flinched. Yes, Niang Niang. How much sleep are you getting? Linyu blinked, her doe eyes flying open in utter confusion. Excuse me? Sleep? I repeated, gesturing vaguely with my pastry. The dark circles under your eyes are throwing off your entire ethereal aesthetic. You look like you've been pulling all-nighters analyzing tax ledgers. Is the Emperor keeping you up late talking about border skirmishes? His Majesty. We discuss poetry, she stammered, completely derailed by the conversation. But I have been anxious. The tension in the inner palace is very heavy. Well, obviously. Everyone here is chronically underfed and overdressed. I sighed, swinging my legs over the side of the hammock and sitting up. I pointed a sticky finger at her. Here is what you are going to do. Tell your maids to steep a pot of green tea. Let the leaves cool completely. Wrap them in thin silk and press them under your eyes for 15 minutes before you sleep. The caffeine and cold temperature will restrict the blood vessels and reduce the puffiness. Linyu stared at me. Her mouth opened, closed, and opened again. Green tea. On my face, Your Highness? Trust me. It works miracles. I assured her. I reached over to the stone table, picked up the plate of pastries, and thrust it toward her. Also eat a pastry. Your blood sugar is practically hovering at a critical low. And you're going to faint if you have to endure another dramatic monologue. From His Majesty. I couldn't possibly take your highness food. Take the pastry, Lin Yu. It's an imperial command. I said using my best, most authoritative villain voice. Trembling, the sweet, delicate heroine reached out and took a warm red bean pastry. She looked at it as if she fully expected it to detonate. Now, I said, lying back down in the hammock and adjusting my silk pillows. I have a very busy schedule of doing absolutely nothing. And you're interrupting me. Interrupting my REM cycle. Go put tea leaves on your face. And tell His Majesty that if he stresses you out again, I'm sending him a bill for your skincare. Yes, Niang Niang, Lin Yu whispered. She backed away slowly, clutching the pastry too. Her chest like a shield, her eyes wide with bewilderment. As she practically fled the courtyard, I heard Xiao Ming let out a long, confused sigh from the doorway. Niang, why did you give her your favorite pastries? Xiao Ming asked. I asked her to pour me a cup of tea. Are we trying to poison her with kindness? We are trying to keep her alive and pretty so the Emperor stays obsessed with her. I corrected, closing my eyes and smiling as the spring breeze rocked the hammock. If he's busy with his White Lotus, he won't have time to bother me. It's basic delegation, Xiao Ming. Now hush. The CEO is sleeping. Chapter 4. The Mid-Autumn Banquet was the social event of the year, which meant it was an absolute nightmare. Instead of my comfortable silk robes, Xiao Ming and a team of 4 maids had wrangled me into a suffocating 10-pound gown of gold-embroidered crimson silk. My hair was pulled up into a towering structure of braids and pinned into place with heavy jade ornaments that practically acted as lightning rods for migraines. The banquet hall was massive, glittering with thousands of lanterns and packed with chattering nobles, nervous concubines, and judgmental ministers. According to the original novel, this was the scene where I was supposed to be sleeping as she performed a delicate fan dance, publicly humiliating her. Instead, I was sitting at my assigned table near the Emperor's dais, completely ignoring the fan dance in favor of my true love. A steaming, perfectly glazed plate of braised pork belly. Niang, please chew with your mouth closed. Xiao Ming hissed from behind my chair, shielding me from view with a large feathered fan. The pork is melting, Xiao Ming, I whispered back, scooping up another piece with my silver chopsticks. I can't disrespect the chef's hard work by eating slowly. I glanced over at the center of the room. Lin Yu was finishing her dance. She looked radiant, and I was pleased to note that the dark circles under her eyes were completely gone. The green tea trick had worked. When she bowed, she caught my eye and offered a tiny, grateful, completely bewildered smile. I gave her a subtle thumbs up with my chopstick. At the head table, Emperor Li Wei sat on his golden throne. He looked bored, terrifying, and aggressive. He was aggressively handsome in his dark ceremonial robes. He hadn't touched his food. Instead, his dark eyes kept sweeping the room, occasionally lingering on me with that same, intense, suspicious glare from my courtyard. I aggressively ignored him and focused on the pork. The music stopped and a hush fell over the hall. It was time for the diplomatic presentations. An envoy from the neighboring kingdom of Yen stepped forward. He was a tall, arrogant-looking man with a braided beard, a cup of wine. Emperor Li Wei, the envoy boomed. In honor of the Mid-Autumn Festival, my king has sent me to present a poem of our people to celebrate your vast ambitions. Li Wei leaned back in his throne, resting his chin on his fist. Proceed. The envoy puffed out his chest and began to recite in a booming, dramatic cadence. The great golden eagle stretches its claws over the mountains. It sees the vast jade ocean and hungers. But the eagle's stomach is smaller than its eyes. The eagle's stomach is smaller than its eyes. It dives for the deep water, only to find its feathers soaked, its lungs filled with salt, sinking beneath the waves it sought to drink. The envoy bowed with a smug, self-satisfied smile. The banquet hall went deathly silent. The court scholars turned pale. Everyone knew exactly what the envoy was doing. He was using flowery, highbrow metaphors to insult the emperor. Essentially calling Li Wei a greedy tyrant whose military expansion was going to bankrupt his own empire. But because it was delivered as a celebratory poem, if Li Wei executed the man on the spot, he would look like a brute who didn't understand art. The scholars were supposed to translate and counter the poem with equal elegance. But they were all sweating profusely, terrified of saying the wrong thing. The tension in the room was so thick you could carve it. It was completely ruining my digestion. I sighed, dropping my chopsticks onto my jade plate with a sharp clack. In the dead silence of the hall, the sound echoed like a gunshot. Every head, including Villainessand, the envoys, snapped toward me. "Noble consort," Li Wei said, his voice dangerously soft. "Do you have something to add to the envoy's poetry?" "Just a translation, Your Majesty," I said, dabbing my mouth with a silk napkin. I looked directly at the smug envoy. "It's a very pretty poem, but let's cut the corporate jargon. He's calling you a greedy micromanager." The court scholars collectively gasped. The envoy's face turned bright red. "Excuse me," the envoy sputtered. "I spoke of eagles and oceans. The poetry of Yen is passive-aggressive." I interrupted lazily, leaning my elbow on the table. "You're saying His Majesty's supply chain is going to collapse if he keeps expanding the western borders. You're implying our military budget is over-leveraged and we're going to drown in our own overhead costs." It's a very standard risk assessment report wrapped in terrible bird metaphors. The hall was so quiet I could hear the lanterns flickering. Xiaoming let out a tiny, whimpering sound of pure despair behind me. I had just bypassed imperial protocol, simplified a complex diplomatic insult into modern middle management speak, and spoken out of turn. I looked up at Li Wei, fully expecting him to order me dragged off to the dungeons for ruining the diplomatic dance. Instead, Emperor Li Wei was staring at me, his hand covering the lower half of his face. His shoulders were shaking. It took me a full 3 seconds to realize the terrifying tyrant of the novel was actually laughing. It was a dark, low, incredibly rich sound that made the entire court freeze in absolute terror. He dropped his hand, revealing a sharp, devastating smirk that completely transformed his cold features. "A greedy micromanager with an over-leveraged military budget," Li Wei repeated, tasting the bizarre modern words. His indigo eyes locked onto mine, burning with a sudden, intense fascination. He turned his gaze to the sweating envoy. "The noble consort is known for her blunt wisdom. Tell your king that the Golden Eagle knows exactly how to swim, and our overhead costs are well within my margins." The envoy bowed hastily, his smugness completely shattered, and practically scurried back to his seat. The tension in the room broke. The music hastily started up again. I let out a breath and picked my chopsticks back up, reaching for the last piece of braised pork. I could feel Li Wei's gaze on me for the rest of the night. It wasn't the cold, suspicious glare from before. It was something much heavier, much sharper, and infinitely more dangerous. I chewed my pork nervously. Apparently, avoiding the plot was going to be much harder if the Emperor decided my slacking was charming. Chapter 5. In the corporate world, when the drama gets too high, you apply for paid time off. In the imperial harem, PTO is notoriously hard to get approved, unless you count the Cold Palace. Historically, the Cold Palace was a place of despair, starvation, and despair. In the imperial harem, the Cold Palace was a place of despair, starvation, and weeping women who had lost the emperor's favor. But to my modern, exhausted brain, it sounded like a gated community with zero mandatory social events, no heavy makeup requirements, and a guarantee that absolutely no one would bother me. My golden opportunity for banishment arrived on a rainy Tuesday. I was summoned to the Empress main hall, where Consort Su, a woman who had spent the last 3 years locked in a bitter, unrequited rivalry with the original Zhao Liang, was sobbing theatrically. On the floor, clutched in her hands, was a spectacular, silver-embroidered ceremonial gown that looked like it had been violently attacked by a pack of feral badgers. Emperor Liwei sat beside the Empress, massaging his temples as if he were trying to push a headache out of his skull. "Your Majesty, she is out of control," Consort Su wailed, pointing a trembling, manicured finger at me as I strolled into the hall. The noble consort ordered her maids to shred my gown for the spring festival. "She is jealous. She is wicked. She must be punished." In the novel, Zhao Liang would have screamed, demanded a trial by torture, and slapped Consort Shu across the face. I looked at the shredded dress, then I looked at Liwei. "Yes," I said, loudly nodding my head in solemn agreement. "I absolutely did it. My jealousy knows no bounds. I am a menace to society and textiles alike." The entire hall froze. Consort Shu stopped sobbing mid-hiccup. Even the Imperial guards by the door looked confused. Liwei lowered his hand from his face, his dark eyes locking onto mine with that intense, piercing stare you confess without an investigation, without blaming a rogue servant. "I am taking full accountability for my toxic workplace behavior," I declared respectfully, bowing my head. "I have clearly violated the handbook of Imperial Harmony, therefore I insist on the maximum penalty for a non-capital offense: banishment to the Cold Palace immediately." You want to go to the Cold Palace? I accept my punishment with a heavy heart, Your Majesty. I lied, barely able to contain my excitement. "I will need time to reflect alone with no visitors for at least a month." Consort Shu looked like she had just been robbed. The Empress looked bewildered. Liwei looked as if he wanted to throttle me. He knew exactly what I was doing. I was leveraging a misdemeanor to get a state-sponsored vacation. Finally, I was able to go to the Cold Palace. I accepted my punishment with a heavy heart. Liwei gritted out his voice, practically freezing the air in the room. "The noble consort is banished to the Northern Cold Palace until further notice. She is stripped of her luxury rations." "Thank you, Your Majesty. Your justice is a beacon of light," I cheered, turning on my heel and practically sprinting back to my courtyard to pack. By nightfall, I was comfortably installed in my new accommodations. True to its name, the Cold Palace was drafty, dusty, and severely lacking in gold leaves. But Xiaoming and I had smuggled in 3 heavy silk quilts, a stash of premium jasmine tea, 2 bags of dried persimmons, and my purple hammock. We spent an hour sweeping the main room, set up a